Men were told their worth came from work, not partially, not casually, not metaphorically, deeply, structurally, emotionally. Civilization quietly trained generations of men to measure themselves through productivity, income, physical output, problem-solving, providing endurance, performance status, through labor, and usefulness, through sacrifice. Then something strange happened. Modern retirement quietly removed the very system many men emotionally used to measure whether they mattered. And the disturbing part is, civilization normalized this contradiction unbelievably fast. Because if you really investigate it, modern retirement is emotionally stranger than most people realize. A man spends 30, 40, sometimes 50 years waking up early, solving problems, sacrificing his body, fighting exhaustion, commuting, lifting, building, producing, fixing, leading, competing, working overtime, missing moments, absorbing pressure, being emotionally needed by everybody. Then, one day, civilization politely hands him a cake, gives him a watch, says congratulations, and quietly removes the system he emotionally built his identity around. That's not just a financial transition. That's an identity event. And the strange part is, many men were never emotionally trained for that part. Civilization trained men how to work. Civilization rarely trained men how to exist without being needed by work. That's the signal. Because modern civilization shifts so quickly now that many humans adapt behaviorally long before they adapt psychologically. Men learned the apps, the systems, the schedules, the pressure, the career ladder, the productivity rules, the retirement accounts, the endless optimization systems. But emotionally, many men quietly built their internal identity operating systems around usefulness itself. And once usefulness becomes emotionally fused with labor, retirement can quietly feel less like freedom and more like invisible emotional disorientation. Not because retirement is bad, but because civilization quietly made productivity feel like masculinity itself. And now millions of men are entering retirement carrying a strange, invisible question underneath the surface. If I am no longer producing at the same level, what exactly am I now? That question is bigger than finance. That question touches identity, purpose, structure, self-worth, relevance, meaning, and emotional orientation. And civilization barely talks about it. Because civilization is strangely comfortable discussing retirement accounts, investments, withdrawal strategies, market performance, interest rates, but becomes deeply uncomfortable discussing male emotional identity collapse after productivity removal. That's the hidden contradiction. As of 2026, human civilization quietly shifted from stable industrial identity systems to high-speed adaptive productivity civilization. Back then, many men expected long-term work, clear roles, stable careers, predictable retirement, linear progression, slow civilization change. Physical communities defined masculine expectations. A man worked, retired, relaxed, spent time with family, maybe fished, maybe traveled, maybe sat on the porch, slowly becoming one with lawn maintenance technology. That was the emotional image. But modern civilization changed faster than human psychology. Now, many men retire into digital civilization, algorithmic life, constant, technological updates, economic instability, inflation, pressure, social fragmentation, identity confusion, reduced physical community subscription-based existence, and hyper-individual isolation. The old retirement image emotionally belonged to a slower civilization. Modern retirement exists inside a civilization operating like unstable software updates. And many men quietly feel that transition emotionally, especially because modern civilization increasingly ties male value to output, relevance, speed, adaptability, earning optimization, and productivity visibility. Modern systems reward men for being available, efficient, productive, responsive, financially functional, and emotionally durable. Meanwhile, many men quietly lose stillness, reflection, friendship community, identity outside labor, and emotional language for internal struggle. That's why retirement can hit some men strangely hard. Because sometimes the paycheck was never only money. Sometimes the paycheck was structure routine, purpose, social proof, masculine validation, emotional orientation, and identity stabilization. The strange part is, many men don't fully realize that until the structure disappears. Humanity built AI-powered civilization, and many retired men still wake up at 6 a.m. emotionally prepared for work that no longer exists. That's not weakness. That's psychological conditioning. Modern civilization trained men so deeply into productivity that many men feel guilty relaxing inside the very retirement civilization told them to pursue. That's disturbingly fascinating. A man spends decades trying to escape work, then emotionally struggles once work escapes him. That's the paradox. And the deeper you investigate modern male identity systems, the stranger everything becomes. Because civilization increasingly tells men, your value comes from productivity. Then later civilization says, okay, stop producing now and enjoy yourself. But emotional identity systems don't switch off like microwaves, especially after decades of reinforcement. And modern civilization made this even stranger through digital comparison systems. Now retired men don't just compare themselves locally anymore. They compare themselves globally, online, against successful entrepreneurs, wealth influencers, high-performing men, financial gurus, fitness culture, AI productivity culture, and algorithmically amplified achievement theater. Modern civilization professionally distributes comparison pressure. Even retirement gets optimized now. Now retirement itself becomes another productivity competition. Travel more. Optimize health more. Make passive income. Start a side hustle. Stay relevant. Stay useful. Stay active. Stay monetizable. Civilization quietly turned rest into another performance category. Human beings used to retire. Modern humans now manage retirement portfolios while consuming anti-aging optimization content beside targeted supplement advertisements. That sentence sounds fake, but it's basically normal now. And men adapted unbelievably fast. Humanity gained God-tier civilization technology, and many men still emotionally panic because they feel unproductive for one afternoon. Civilization overload is real. And the strange part is, many men silently carry emotional exhaustion from constantly feeling responsible for stability in unstable systems, especially older men. Because many men were emotionally trained to suppress vulnerability through usefulness. Translation: keep moving, keep solving, keep providing, keep working, keep functioning, even emotionally. That conditioning doesn't disappear automatically at retirement age. Sometimes the body retires before the pressure system inside the mind does. That's why some retired men quietly experience disorientation, restlessness, irritability, depression, loss of direction, identity, confusion, or emotional numbness without fully understanding why. Because civilization framed retirement mostly as a financial event, not an identity restructuring event. And the strange part is, hidden leverage exists underneath this pressure too. Because every civilization shift creates opportunity clusters. Most people only see confusion, aging, pressure, retirement, anxiety, economic instability, identity fatigue. But underneath modern retirement pressure, new human needs are forming. Men increasingly need purpose, reconstruction systems, community systems, post-work, identity systems, small business pathways, local meaning systems, teaching pathways, mentorship systems, creative systems, digital leverage, education, health stabilization systems, and simplified low-pressure income models. That's where leverage begins forming. Because the first victory is not always financial. Sometimes the first victory is emotional stabilization, clarity, orientation, recognizing what exactly happened to my identity operating system. That realization matters. Because many men spent decades becoming useful without building a parallel emotional structure outside usefulness itself. And modern civilization quietly encouraged that imbalance. Humanity created productivity civilization, and many men accidentally became employees inside their own self-worth systems. That's a brutal realization. But it's also actionable. Because once the pressure becomes visible, men can reposition against it. That's where confusion to clarity, to control, to leverage actually begins. And civilization is creating entirely new leverage pathways around this transition, especially for men with experience, wisdom, technical skills, trade knowledge systems, thinking, life experience, practical problem-solving ability, or mentorship capability. The strange part is, modern civilization increasingly undervalues experienced humans publicly, while privately needing their knowledge constantly. That contradiction itself creates opportunity. Retired men now quietly possess construction knowledge, mechanical knowledge, business experience, discipline, life pattern recognition, practical troubleshooting ability, leadership understanding, negotiation skills, repair, knowledge, and human experience. Younger generations often never received structurally. Civilization removed intergenerational transfer systems, then acts confused when younger generations lack guidance. That's another hidden contradiction. And hidden contradictions often create leverage, especially locally, especially digitally, especially educationally, especially through simplified systems. A retired electrician teaching younger homeowners basic electrical safety online? Leverage. A retired mechanic simplifying vehicle ownership for younger drivers? Leverage. A retired carpenter teaching practical home repair systems? Leverage. A retired foreman teaching leadership and discipline through storytelling? Leverage. Civilization shifts always create weird little opportunity pockets, especially when older systems collapse before emotional adaptation fully catches up. And modern civilization increasingly needs human translators, practical wisdom, simplification systems, low noise guidance, emotionally grounded teaching, and non-corporate mentorship. Because modern humans are drowning in information while starving for orientation. That's another strange contradiction. Humanity gained infinite information access, and millions of humans still quietly feel directionless. Especially men who emotionally built themselves around older civilization models that no longer fully exist. And the strange part is, this is probably only the beginning. Because once civilization normalizes AI-assisted productivity systems, male identity itself may increasingly detach from traditional labor structures. That's the next escalation. AI changes output systems. Automation changes labor value. Digital leverage changes income structures. And many men may increasingly face a civilization where identity, purpose, community, and usefulness must eventually be rebuilt outside industrial-era work conditioning. That sounds dramatic. But civilization already started moving there quietly. Modern humans already outsource memory navigation, scheduling, communication, shopping, entertainment, and organization through digital systems. Future civilization may increasingly outsource productivity itself, which means many humans, especially men trained to emotionally anchor identity to labor, may experience even deeper purpose disorientation if they don't consciously rebuild internal identity structures. And civilization does not currently appear emotionally prepared for that conversation, especially because modern systems increasingly monetize emotional dependency professionally. Humanity built algorithmic civilization, and civilization immediately searched for ways to monetize male insecurity too. That's the darker layer underneath the signal. But hidden leverage still exists. Because the men who recognize the shift early can adapt differently. They can build smaller, live, simpler teach, mentor, consult, create farm repair guide, translate, organize, document, or build low-overhead systems around real human value instead of endless status competition. Modern civilization trained many men to chase scale. Future leverage may increasingly reward clarity, adaptability, local usefulness, low-friction living, practical wisdom, and emotional stability instead. That's a major civilization reversal. And honestly, many men may eventually discover they never actually wanted endless productivity. They wanted peace, purpose, respect, stability, meaning freedom and usefulness without emotional destruction. Those are not the same thing. Modern civilization quietly merged them together. That merger created enormous pressure. If this signal connects to your life or affects somebody close to you, there may be hidden pressure, hidden friction, or hidden leverage underneath it. Most humans experience civilization shifts personally long before they understand them structurally. Sometimes the pressure appears as retirement, anxiety, identity, confusion, financial fear, adaptation, fatigue, restlessness, emotional numbness, direction loss, or invisible masculine pressure. And many men quietly normalize it before realizing something fundamental actually changed underneath the surface. Because retirement was never only about money. For many men, retirement quietly became a confrontation with identity itself. But once the signal becomes visible, new positioning becomes possible. That's the goal. Not panic. Awareness. Recognition. Positioning. Adaptation. Leverage. Gaimed. Investigates. Civilization pressure, hidden trade-offs. Adaptation systems. Identity shifts. Invisible normalization and leverage. Opportunities forming underneath modern human confusion. Confusion. Clarity. Control. Leverage. Gaimed equals advantage. If this signal connected with you, check out the Gaimed Signal Investigation Network below. We're building investigations across multiple platforms because modern civilization pressure doesn't stop in one place. Support the Gaimed Signal Investigation Network by subscribing, sharing, and shopping. That support helps us continue investigating the hidden systems quietly reshaping modern civilization. Which probably affects you too if you're currently breathing oxygen, paying bills, opening apps, managing stress, aging inside subscription civilization, or maintaining a Wi-Fi connection to reality sometime within the last 15 minutes. Confusion. Clarity. Control. Leverage. Gaimed equals advantage. Gaimed. Men and AMP. Retirement identity shift. Snapshot system. $13 is in the description. Purchase it. Apply it. That's where control begins.